It's time for the One Bar and Lupaga Show, bringing you anything and everything Minnesota Vikings.
Welcome to professional football.
All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus Show. I am One Bar with Lupagus, and this week it is the battle of the 0-3 teams. Today we're going to be talking about how the Vikings win this game and how the Vikings lose this game.
Are we going to talk about how they could tie this game?
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if it was 6-6.
Yeah, in the way this season's going, anything's game. Be prepared for any outcome. When two 0-3 teams get together, like the Texans and the Vikings, it's going to be either very exciting or very, very gross. I'm not sure which one it's going to be yet.
Yeah, we'll see. But before we get into that, I'm going to throw a wrinkle at you. We got a question on our YouTube channel from Sean Anderson. Are you ready?
Is that legal?
It's legal. I'm throwing it at you.
I'm ready.
He said to choose, would you rather, leading into for the 2021 season, continue with Mike Zimmer and Kirk Cousins, or completely switch it up and go with Eric Bieniemy and Trevor Lawrence?
Whew.
What a wrinkle I just tossed your way.
You know, right now, 0-3, week 4, the way I'm feeling, yeah, I'm very much open to Eric Bieniemy and Trevor Lawrence. And I want Trevor to cut his damn hair. He looks like this woman in town that I know. But, yeah, I think right now, I don't know. I just feel like you need that up-and-coming young quarterback who's got potential, who's maybe a little gives you more what Cousins does right now. Cousins is just kind of he's like a good ham sandwich. You know what you're going to get, but there's no spice. There's no zip to it. It's just it's a solid lunch, but you're not going to remember it. I think Trevor Lawrence could be maybe there's some spicy mayo on this. Maybe there's some fried chicken. Maybe bread's toasted. It's got cranberries in it. A little bit something special there. And I think
that sounds disgusting. How about like a meatball sub? That sounds delicious.
You suck at food.
Yeah,
and I do think Bieniemy is going to be the next up and coming coach. I think he's the next, the next great NFL coach. So I love Bieniemy. I'd love to get him in purple again.
Yeah, we got a special spot in our hearts for Bieniemy. He was a running backs coach forever, and he went to Colorado. The only thing that scares me about Bieniemy is Andy Reid's calling the shots there. It's not like he formed this chief offense that is explosive. But
Bieniemy is a major part of it too.
Yeah, well, we thought Brad Childress was a major part of the Philadelphia Eagles offense, and Andy Reid was there too. So that's a little scary, but yes, I agree. You might as well just completely change it up. But let's get right into this. Let's start off with 5 reasons the Vikings will lose. We'll end on a good note. So 5 reasons the Vikings could lose this game. And number 1, what I got is, the Texans, they might be 0-3. But I don't think they're really that bad. They're the teams they've faced are 8-1. They've played the Chiefs, the Steelers, and the Ravens lost to the Chiefs. And
the Ravens didn't just lose the Chiefs; they were absolutely destroyed by the Chiefs. And the Texans, they hung in there for the first quarter and a half against the Chiefs, and the rails kind of came off in the later in the game. They got destroyed by the Ravens. But they went toe-to-toe with the Steelers, who are a very, very good team. That was my survivor pick last week, and I was shitting my pants until finally the Steelers pulled away. But the Texans always kind of seem to be that team that can't quite finish. They can hang in there, but they don't know how to get the win. But I agree. I think this Texans team is better than people are giving them credit for. I do not think they should be 0-3. And if they had a little easier schedule, I'm sure they have at least 1 or 2 wins by now.
Yeah, so their record might not show who they actually are. Number 2 reason the Vikings could lose this game is obviously Deshaun Watson. He is the type of quarterback that the Vikings just never seem to do very well against. He is moving. He is shaking. He is making plays, extending them. And whenever, like Aaron Rodgers-esque, when you extend a play against the Vikings, it seems to always work out.
Yeah, and, One Bar, he's the number one reason why – he's the number one thing that worries me about the Texans. I'm not worried about any other aspect, other team other than Deshaun Watson. We can't get any kind of pass rush this year. Yannick Ngakoue, I think, leads the team with 2 sacks. Odenigbo has been basically MIA. Stick him on a milk carton because he's missing. Watson can create the extra time. So if you can't get to him regardless, but this guy can scramble, make extra time in the pocket. Our corners can't cover. It's just a bad recipe. And I think if there's any reason why the Vikings lose this game, it's because Watson can create the extra time in the pocket, find the open receiver, because there's going to be an open receiver. We know it. We've seen it.
There'll probably be 4 of them.
Weeks. Yeah, I know. So this is my major number one concern is Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, him extending the plays. The receivers are all speedy receivers. Fuller, Cooks, Randall Cobb. So that is also scary. The number 3 reason the Vikings could lose this game is it's just kind of been a weird week with the Vikings having to take a practice off. The whole COVID thing, they had to do virtual practices. Zimmer's already come out and said, we're not gonna blame that. We're not gonna look at that. We're gonna be just fine. But fact is, it was a strange week for the Vikings.
Yeah, they practiced with masks on today. This was the first day they probably installed anything specifically for the Texans, which puts them a day behind. They got to fly out probably on Saturday. So yeah, you got a really short week of preparation for this team. The Titans and their infested bodies did not do us any favors when they came to town.
Rascals.
So yeah, it just puts this team another a little farther back behind the 8 ball here, and it definitely does not help matters. And you're 0-3 looking for a win, and to get a shortened week does not help one bit. But maybe maybe it does. Maybe they get a little healthy. Get rest a little bit more.
Like your positive outlook. Number 4, the 4th reason the Vikings could lose to the Texans, David freaking Johnson. We know we suck at stuff in the run. This just seems like the perfect scenario where David Johnson is just going to have a 150-yard game out of nowhere, 2 touchdowns, and just rip us a new one.
And I know his numbers don't show it overall, but he's running hard. I mean, he's kind of looking like a David Johnson back in his have you ever ran hard before?
Yeah, it's very awkward.
Why were you? What circumstances led to that happening?
I'll tell you later. I'm not telling you right now.
All right. So anyway, no, he has been running hard. He's running with conviction. He kind of looks like the David Johnson of old. I'm not going to say that it was a good choice for the Texans to trade a 2nd-round pick to get him and get rid of DeAndre Hopkins, but you got to like what he's done, and not just in the running game, but in the passing game. And here's my concern: the Vikings, they've been horrible. Teams are gashing us right up the middle. Jaleel Johnson, Shamar Stephen cannot stop the run. The Texans are going to be well aware of this, and I would just attack the middle over and over and over again.
Yeah, and if you want to hear about what the Texans fans thought about that trade, you can make sure to go watch that Scoling with the Enemy, where Lupagus grills Mike Bullock from Red Battle Blog.
Yeah, he hates Bill O'Brien more than I hate ratchet straps.
Yeah, you go check that out. The fifth reason the Vikings lose to the Texans, and this is kind of a gimme. It's J.J. Watt against our offensive line. J.J. Watt is not spry. He's not a young fellow anymore, but he's having a hell of a season. He is, I think he's got 3 sacks on the year, and I expect him to be at about 5 at least after this game.
He's a Hall of Fame player. He's quick. He's strong. He's aggressive. His motor doesn't stop. If I'm the Texans, I know he's going to line up over Brian O'Neill normally. I'm going to kick him inside every now and then, put him against Samia, and just, enjoy that bloodbath, because Samia, you thought he rolled far against DeForest Buckner. J.J. Watt will throw him 15 yards.
J.J. Watt might just throw him into the quarterback. Get a sack right there.
Yeah, I'm hoping for a lot of 3-step drops, and Cousins has to know that Watt's coming after him every play.
All right, those are 5 reasons the Vikings could lose this game. Let's end on a good note. 5 reasons the Vikings will win this game. Starting off with the best one, the Texans absolutely suck. They're worse than us at stuff in the run. You can run the ball against the Texans. Chiefs, Clyde Hilaire had over 100 yards. He had like 130 yards. James Conner had over 100 yards. The Ravens had 4 guys with over 50 yards apiece. So you can run all over these guys. Dalvin Cook coming off a career game. I expect damn near another career game.
Yeah, and, Gary Kubiak even said it just recently. I got to get Dalvin Cook more touches. So he might even see more touches he did last week.
Shit, Gary.
Keep feeding him. Feed Cook. Good things happen. Opens up the play-action pass. controls the clock, controls the clock.
Jesus, where's your mind?
Keeps our defense a little more fresh. If you can keep getting those first downs, long drives. And I mean, Cook was amazing last week. Let's feed off that. Let's build off that. Let's keep it going. And the Texans, like you said, cannot stuff the run one bit. So I expect a heavy dose, a lot of scoops of Dalvin Cook going in the Texans' mouth.
Yeah, the Texans are dead last in the league. They're giving up like 180 plus yards a game. So let's really bank on that. But you just mentioned Gary Kubiak. We should have had this on our list. It should be 5B. This is a Gary Kubiak revenge game.
Yeah, because he actually, I think the year before he was fired, he led him to, was it the AFC Championship game? It was really far in the playoffs. Things kind of went off the rails the year after that, and they let him go. And I know that Mike Bullock was not happy about that. We talked to him the other day. And Bill O'Brien just isn't – I don't think he's the answer there.
Shh, we'll get into that. Next, our defensive tackles, number 2, our defensive tackles might actually have a chance against this Texans offensive line because their guards, they got some names there, but they're having a rough go at it. And I'm not going to say they're bad as the Vikings, but they are not good.
Yeah, they got some high draft picks. Max Sharping, the center, he was who's that? You got him? Center there. Zach, is it Zach?
Texas center, Nick Martin.
Nick Martin, high draft picks. But again, they can't get in, kind of push up the middle. And maybe Shamar Stephen will have a career game. Maybe Jaleel Johnson will kind of show up and look like he did late in the season last year because we need him to. And if they can't, it's just a lost cause at this point.
Yeah, I mean, really, this out of all the teams we play, barring any injuries, moving ahead, this is probably the shittiest set of guards we're gonna play. If our defensive tackles can't at least make some noise back there, I'm not saying Jaleel Johnson needs to have 3 sacks, but if they can't get back there, we're not gonna get back on anybody. Watson's been sacked like 13 times this year. People have been up in his grill all game, every game. And Yannick, I'm expecting big things from him, but I'm really looking at our D tackles to help open things up.
Well, they have to. I mean, Yannick can't be the only guy creating pressure. Some has to come from the middle, and that should be Jaleel Johnson's job. And then Odenigbo has to step up. And maybe Zimmer has to mix it up. Let's see Odenigbo play some snaps at D tackle, get creative, figure it out because we need to pressure Watson or it's going to get ugly.
I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction that Armon Watts has a little bit of a coming out party this week.
You know who I love? I love me some Armon Watts.
I know you do. That's why I said that. All right, number 3, the third reasons the Vikings are going to get their first win. We showed a little life last week. We came out swinging, and the Titans are a very good team, I would say. We came up a little bit short, but we showed some spunk, and our offense was firing. So we might be headed in the right direction.
We might be.
Might be. Very big might be.
I think Justin Jefferson was the major spark that lit the whole entire fire flame thing going. Just not only what he did on the field, but just the way he's acting. He's just a fireball of energy. We love him in purple. But again, that's the kind of player the Vikings were missing. They didn't have anybody who could spark everybody else. We talked about it a couple weeks ago with Diggs. He would get in everybody's face, point fingers a little bit, but maybe that got everybody else pissed off and fired up. Jefferson's kind of doing it in a different way, which is sad. It has to come from a rookie. But Cousins ain't doing it. Cook ain't doing it. None of the old vets are doing it. So let's feed off the young guys, feed off his energy, and let's get everybody else going. But yeah, if the Vikings can continue looking like they actually want to play again this week, that'll go a long way in helping them get the win.
Yeah, and since you already mentioned him, we'll go to number 4. Number 4 reason the Vikings can win is Justin Jefferson. He's been given that nice number 2 wide receiver. He blew it up last week, and he's going to be out there this week. And I fully expect a nice little encore. I think they're going to be feeding him the ball. And even if they don't, Adam Thielen's going to be on the other side.
Well, here's the thing. It's on tape now. So the Texans are aware of the threat Justin Jefferson can be. So they're going to try to game plan for him. Maybe that if it reduces Jefferson's numbers but opens up things more for Thielen, maybe Irv Smith, that's a bonus. And maybe they're not putting a guy up in the box and dropping under the coverage. That makes things a little easier for Dalvin Cook. So Jefferson having that great game last week just makes everything easier for the entire offense.
All right, the final reason the Vikings could win, and you already alluded to this, is their coach Bill O'Brien. He kind of steps on his dick a lot. I mean, he doesn't seem to be overly loved by the Texans. He kind of makes some boneheaded moves out there.
Yeah, the Texans are a lot like you. They have a hard time finishing. They just, whether it's O'Brien making bad challenges or just changing the game plan when things are working, he's one of these coaches that I think he loses more games than he actually wins. And the Texans are a team that just, they can't seem to figure out how to come out with a victory consistently. You see teams like the Titans, you know, we played them last week. They had two close games the prior 2 weeks. They know how to win. They know how to pull it out. Bill O'Brien has never pulled out in his life.
Ditto. And yeah, I haven't seen a ton of Texans games, but the ones I have, he does. He makes some weird ass challenges. I mean, everybody loves Bill O'Brien. Back to the Penn State days, New England Patriots. I like Bill O'Brien for some weird reason. Maybe it's that weird thing on his chin, but
I was gonna say his little chingina.
yeah, he makes some weird moves. I mean, the DeAndre Hopkins trade. I mean, it's just I wouldn't be overly happy if I was a Texans fan. I don't think it makes me be a little more happier about people bitching about Mike Zimmer. It could be worse. We could have Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, that's the one thing I learned from talking from the guy with the Texans. He thinks Mike Zimmer is a real solid coach, and he hates Bill O'Brien. So,
well, we'll see what happens. Those are 5 reasons the Vikings could win. They could lose. We're going to be coming back with a little more Texans talk, but that wraps this hog up.
Yeah, and this has nothing to do with the Texans or the Vikings, but remember this. Major League Baseball umpires are required to wear black panties in case their pants split during a game.
Panties?